Hey there! I was at a pen meet and my friend Murray was there, who has 500 million trillion pens, and he said, "Oh look, I have a Penlux." I said, "Oh, I heard about that brand, but I've never used one." He said, "Oh, review it." This is not actually what Murray talks like, but anyway. So, the Penlux, this is the, I had to look up the name because it's a long name, the Penlux Masterpiece Grande Great Natural Rainforest. And that is green, and then there's also a blue one which had a name, I forget, but it was something with ocean or sea or something. It's sort of a turquoise, because the pen, I don't know how well you can see, but it's, oh yeah, you should be able to see that. It's translucent, right? So there's also a translucent turquoise version. Very interesting pens. I had never held one, and I am quite impressed, especially given the price of this. I think it is not bad. So let's do this. What should I do? Let's see. Maybe I can cover the parts, do a writing sample, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Okay, so here we go with the Penlux. I don't have the box because I just borrowed the pen, but I can show you this pen right next to a Pilot Parallel to give you a bit of an idea of the size. Not a super small pen, the Penlux, which I kind of like. So, made in Taiwan, fine nib only as far as I could find online. Piston filler, 195 US, different finishes available, as I said. Let's cover the parts. Top of the cap, same material as the rest of the cap. A nice clip with a little wheel. Clip is very usable. You have this nice gold ring, which to me really looks quite refined. It says Penlux. I'm sure it's not real gold, but it looks nice. The dark green and the gold, in my mind, it works. It looks like rose gold to me, but it's very hard to tell with the dark background for some reason. I guess that's how perception works. Now, we have this ring, nothing on the back. Pen barrel tapers down, and this is a piston turning knob. Pen unscrews, rather large and girthy section, and a steel nib, gold colored, but steel nib engraved with the Penlux logo, which I like. It's very simple. May or may not remind me a little bit of the Platinum P. No comment. And it says F for fine. Okay. Pen is, as I said, quite big. Does post, but not very deeply. And that makes it a huge pen posted. So I would use this one unposted. Plastic feed, piston filler, translucent material. You can see the ink in there. I know it's a bit reflective, I'm sorry, but it's the best I can do. That means you can also use this pen as a level, which is always convenient, you know, multi-purpose items. But what you really want to know is how it writes. So, how does it write? Let me zoom out a bit for you. The Penlux Masterpiece Grande Great Natural Rainforest. The nib is fine steel and the ink is something. I got it with this ink in it. It's a turquoise ink. I don't know. Is there a lot of feedback? No, it's a fine nib. There is some feedback, but it's not a scratchy nib. Don't forget, the camera microphone is very sensitive to that kind of sound. I can say it's not a very... Actually, I don't find it scratchy at all. It's quite pleasant in my mind. What about fast writing? Really not bad. Pretty consistent, good ink flow. I like it. Wetness? Yeah, not the world's wettest writer, but it's such a fine nib, I would kind of expect that. Line variation, tiny bit, but this nib is stiff. These are rigid nibs. I'm really pushing it there. I wouldn't recommend it. So leave it at that. This is not a springy nib. What about reverse writing? You may have heard that. Nib gets snagged a bit on the paper, so I wouldn't use this one for reverse writing, but again, you already have a fine nib, so I don't think that's really necessary to turn this one over. Okay, the end. We need to see what I like and what I do not like about this particular pen, and we're going to do that right here, right now. Okay, what do I like, what do I not like about the Penlux Masterpiece Grande Great Natural Rainforest? Well, a lot. I think there is a lot to be liked in this pen. Number one, it's larger, which is something that I appreciate. I like that, and yet I still find it very comfortable. Nice big nib, number 6, that is cool. I think that is really, really nice, and it works well. I also like that nib has a pretty cool engraving, which I think is quite nice. I have a little bit of trouble seeing whether it's laser engraved. I have the feeling it is. Yeah, I'm almost certain it is. But still, I like it. I think that's very nice. I find the section quite comfortable, but being a bigger pen, this might be something you want to try out before you buy it, but that may be difficult. I haven't seen these in a lot of pen shops. The section is comfortable, as I said. The pen is translucent. This is a great benefit because this is a piston filler, and there you can see the ink, a little reflective here, but you can see the ink level. So that is kind of nice, right, for a piston filler, because there are many piston fillers that are not transparent, not translucent, don't have an ink window, you have no idea how much ink you have left. All you need to do is hold this up to a window and you will see, which I think is fantastic. Anything else I wanted to say about things I like? No, I just like it. I think it's a very comfortable pen. What about things I don't like so much? Well, the posting could be deeper, because once posted this thing turns into a behemoth. This is a massive pen. And I think it could post a little bit deeper than this, and I think that would be maybe a bit more comfortable to some people, because I find this is really pushing it. Now, to be honest, it's big enough to be used unposted, so to what degree this really is an issue. Anyway, I'm just pointing it out. Two more things that I want to say about the nib. The nib is a nail, an absolute nail, very, very rigid. It writes well, which is what's most important, but it is a nail, and some people like a little bit of bounce, and even in some steel nibs you get that. This is not one of them. So expect to buy a nib that is really, really rigid. If you're okay with that, there shouldn't be any issue. Second thing is, I could only find these pens online with a fine nib. I wish there would be a little bit more of a range of nibs, but on the other hand, it's a number 6 nib, it looks pretty standard, so there is a chance you can extract this, put another nib in. I haven't tried that. It's not my pen. I don't want to yank other people's nibs out. But there is that, right? So fine only, and it is definitely a fine. I would like it if there would be some more options, maybe at least a medium, right? You have a little bit of a choice. Final thing I will say is, what about the price? $195 US. Well, the pen has some things going for it. It's a piston filler, it's bigger. It also has a steel nib. So $195 at that price, I start to think of gold nibs. Look at something like Opus 88, right? Another Taiwanese brand. I'm not talking about TWSBI. TWSBI is a Taiwanese brand, but in my mind those really are starter pens. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's how TWSBI really prices their pens. I think Opus 88 is very nice, a little bit more expensive, but they are a lot more affordable than this pen is. What I will say is this. I love Opus 88 pens. I absolutely do. I have one that I actually keep, the clear Omar, so for the record, I love Opus 88. I think this pen looks a little bit more refined with the gold colored, or actually it almost looks like rose gold, but in this light it's hard to tell. And the gold trim, the gold clip, the gold rings here, it looks very refined, and that is, in my mind, interesting, because I almost feel like this pen looks like something more expensive and fancy than it truly is, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think that's a lot of fun. So looking at that, the price might be a little higher. Having said all this, of course, at the end of the day, you have to make up your mind. I would be willing to spend this on this pen. I would be willing to do that because I find it a very classy looking pen that writes very comfortably. But yeah, it's not a $50 pen. Okay, a very kind thank you to Murray for lending me this pen. I really appreciate it. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.